Welcome to Destination Linux, the show that's more powerful than a fully operational battle station. I'm Ryan, and I'm joined by my co-pilot and the holocron of open source knowledge, Jill. And today we were just going to sit down with Matthew, the architect of Lutris, to discuss how it remains the one ring to rule your entire gaming library. But we decided to have Matthew on the entire show because, why not? And so, Matthew, thank you so much for joining us as a guest host as well. It's going to be amazing.
Thank you for inviting me, yes.
Yeah,
Aww.
Beautiful. We're also seeking tranquility in the ongoing browser wars with a look at the Zen browser and diving into the comms channel for your community feedback. And this week, we're tackling the final frontier of content creation, the best tools for video editing on Linux. We'll be discussing everything from Kdenlive to DaVinci Resolve and how you can make movie magic without needing proprietary OS training wheels. And as always, this journey across the Linuxverse is powered not just by dilithium crystals, but by you. Destination Linux is a podcast supported by the viewers for the viewers. Jill, are the shields up?
Yes.
Is the hyperdrive
engaged?
Nice. Let's do this thing. This is Destination Linux. So, in our community feedback this week comes from Isaac, and they have this to say. Hi, Ryan and Jill. I just wanted to talk about Kdenlive and what a great piece of software it is. I know everyone says that it's not at the pro level, and granted, it's not a direct competitor to DaVinci Resolve or maybe Premiere Pro. Although, having used it, I have my doubts about it being a competitor to Windows Movie Maker. Kdenlive is still a powerful video editor that just works, whatever distro or OS or graphics card. As long as you aren't trying to make the next grayscale blockbuster with all digital backgrounds, you can make professional looking work. I used it to make my first feature-length documentary last year, and it had everything I needed. In fact, I only used FOSS software for the entire production. Brave Talk for interviews with people who live out of state, OBS for recording those interviews, Audacity for the VOs, Only Office for scripts, Upscale for the low-res photos Historical Society lady sent, and Inkscape for poster design. We are incredibly lucky, and I just want to remind everyone. Love the show, and Jill, I hope you let me interview you again. Isaac. Whoa, Jill, you know this person?
Yeah.
Nice.
He does an awesome podcast.
Very, very cool. So, first of all, I wish I knew the name of the documentary. You can plug here. We'll plug something that was made in all FOSS. You're going to have to write us back and let us know the name of the documentary because I want to check it out. I want to see something that was fully created in free and open source software. You know, I think about, Jill, when you look at the professional side, you've actually worked in Hollywood and created big production movies, worked on things in big production movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is FOSS intertwined in there already today in big production movies.
Absolutely. It's all over the place. In fact, sometimes it's 99.9% of the production.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Things are really, really changing because a lot of studios are doing a fully Blender pipeline. And even if they're not doing just Blender and they're using the other pieces of software, they're often using the open source plugins from Blender to convert the files to one program to the next. So, and then of course rendering, it's all done in Linux, all the rendering with RenderMan and other rendering software that brings everything together.
Yeah, and Lord of the Rings was famous for utilizing a lot of, which I think is to me, I'm not like a big movie buff or an expert in Hollywood and everything, but production wise and scale wise, I don't know that I've ever seen or have a movie to compare to the greatness of Lord of the Rings. To me, the scale of it was just they built an entire world. And I know in some of the scenes, they ran into issues with the software where they couldn't render enough goblins on the screen to act independently at one time. And I believe their solution was like a custom Linux solution that they used, which I think they had an award as well for like the most goblins on screen, most characters on screen independent at one time, which of course were all kind of rendered and stuff. So just a lot of amazing movie magic happens with Linux, which I think is a cool thing to highlight.
Yeah. they were one of the first to completely use Maya on Linux.
Mm.
And there were even some tools developed that was a fork from the GIMP for their photo touch-up that was used on Linux.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't know that. Now,
Yeah.
Matthew, do you make big production movies or do you have any stake in this video production game?
No, not really. I haven't done any video editing. I have toyed a little bit with KD on live, but not enough to like just the basic features like cut and paste and that kind of thing, like resizing, cropping. And that's about like the extent of what I've done like on video. But yeah, I mean, like Linux has this reputation to being like really like prevalent in VFX, like not really editing, but more like on the VFX side, like
Yes.
a lot of Linux going on like under the hood. So
Absolutely.
that's it's always nice to see like more and more of this.
No,
Yeah.
I agree with you. What's interesting about your comment too is when I started making content for the DOS Geek channel, because I was new to Linux and I had to find a video editor and I found Kdenlive. And all I knew how to do in Kdenlive or any video editor, really for that matter, was basic cuts and transitions and the transform ability to basically do a picture in picture thing. Those were the key things that
Mhm.
I needed. And really, if you wanted to create a YouTube channel, that served me for 20,000 subscribers. And like that was my go-to was Kdenlive and now 30,000 or whatever. But the point is that you can do amazing things with Kdenlive. And while I have used DaVinci Resolve quite a bit and I love DaVinci Resolve, I mean, it's got some fantastic automated features. Kdenlive, that nothing you can do in DaVinci Resolve you couldn't do in Kdenlive. Likely,
Yes.
maybe some of the color correction, but very few things you couldn't do. It's just more manual. You're going to have to spend a little more time with the settings and manually doing it unless you write
Yeah.
scripts and stuff. But it can all be done to produce stuff. And the fact that it's no license, one of the reasons I don't use DaVinci right now, I had a license. It's a lifetime license, which is nice, but I lost my license. I'm a Linux user. I don't know how to keep track of licenses anymore. Like, I have no clue how to do that. So I've lost the license and I'm like, whatever, I'll just use Kdenlive and I can get everything I need done. In fact, this show, we talked about moving away from some of the proprietary stuff and as much into open source. We're on Video Ninja right now. We're also, some of the videos that I've had to edit are all done in Kdenlive. So some of these videos where you could tell the difference between when Wendy edited it or me, because usually I'm not putting as much effects and stuff into that thing. But it still comes out as a fantastic show. It still looks great and
Absolutely.
professional. And so I don't know. I agree with you wholeheartedly, but this comment has so many little bits of information, Jill, for
Yeah.
somebody wanting to make their own documentary or movie. They list out all of these amazing programs. Audacity, a lifesaver.
Yes.
I don't know what I would have done doing Hardware Addicts without Audacity. I mean, it cleaned up so many audio issues and it has this ability where you can record stuff where like people are smacking before they speak or any of the
Yeah.
everyone has their own little thing. They take big breaths or whatever, and you can highlight that section and say, remove it from the rest of the audio. You can sample it and like Audacity's so amazing.
It
And then
is.
they
It is.
mentioned Only
Mhm.
Office and Inkscape for poster design and all of this stuff. So I love everything about this comment because there's so many hints in here for people to check out. Like, if they want to make something really cool.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say that one of the main differences between DaVinci Resolve and Kdenlive, like Ryan was saying, you can do everything pretty much you do in DaVinci on the editing side. You can do in Kdenlive. It just requires more time, and sometimes you have to layer effects.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we used to do it in the old days when I started with video editing in the 80s. You had to layer effects and then
Yeah.
just re-render it and bring it back in and but it's very, very powerful. It's really come of age, it has hardware acceleration now.
I mean,
Yeah,
that team
it's
that made Kdenlive, they are
yeah.
so, and all the community people that support them open source, uh, y'all are so talented. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm almost mad jealous you're so talented
Mhm.
to create something like that. Really, like when you think about it, this is a free tool that other companies are charging like $1,000 a year subscriptions for to do some of the same things. Like 70% of what everyone does for their YouTube channels and everything can be done in Kdenlive for free with no license.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that to me is just and the fact that people got together and wrote something this good that we can use on any operating system. You don't even have to be on Linux. You can use it in Windows if you want.
Yeah.
I don't know why you want to, but you could. Just saying. But this is what makes it amazing. So love this comment. Isaac, send us a comment with the documentary so we can plug it on this show. We want to support any of the work that you all in the community are doing.
Absolutely.
If you'd like to send in your feedback, please email us at comments@destinationlinux.net. And we would love to hear from you. You are part of this show. You are the very beginning of this show for a reason. And so we absolutely love hearing from our community. And this week, our show is sponsored by our patrons. They keep this
Mhm.
show going each and every week, and they fund the work to keep this show free from, gambling, pay to win mobile app, other ads that would be running here in place, thanks to all of your hard work. So special thanks to all of our patrons.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Jill and I are very excited for this next section because this is the interview. This is where we get to put Matthew on the hot box. He got to be chill at the intro, but now we get to hammer him with lots of questions here. So, in case you missed it at the beginning, we are joined by a true veteran of the Linux gaming scene. He is the creator and lead developer of the project that acts as the ultimate Swiss Army knife for our libraries, handling everything from GOG and Epic emulators and standalone binaries. Matthew, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thanks for inviting me over again. Yes.
Aw.
We love Lutris. We love
Yeah.
the work you do. Like you're just such an incredible person and very humble in this, which we're going to try to get you to brag about yourself here a little bit. But without Lutris, gaming on Linux would not be what it is today without the work that you
Absolutely.
have done there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of component involved. The XVK was like a big change also in Linux gaming. But yeah, I mean, it's been around for like so long. That's basically when Lutris started. Like Linux gaming was like nowhere near where it is like today. So I've seen like the whole progression of Linux gaming, and yeah, I've like followed the whole thing. And yeah, like Lutris is one component of the whole thing, but there's like so many, so many components, and Lutris kind of like brings everything together and makes it like easy to access for everyone. Because like before that, you would have like to know about like all the different components and like
it
hunt
was a
around, like
pain.
follow tutorials, all that the stuff.
Yeah, and the tutorials were great if you were a Linux expert. What I love about Lutris is it makes it Ryan proof, or in other words, idiot proof. So I could just click buttons and the things that are really advanced get done in the back end, and I can run my games or my applications. And because we have a lot of new listeners, do you want to kind of give just a quick soundbite of what is Lutris?
So Lutris is a way to keep your game library like on your computer, regardless of where the game comes from. So it can be any of the supported stores. And we have integrations with most of them. So it's Epic and GOG and Battle.net and Ubisoft, EA, all those like libraries that have like a launcher like that we support. Like some of them don't even need a launcher like Amazon or GOG, but we handle those as well, like itch.io. And also we make it easy to install games that are not necessarily available on those platforms. So it can be your old games on CD or DVD, games that are abandoned. So you need to get them like on archive.org somewhere else. And also like it's easy to set up all emulators for like all your game consoles or your old computers and all of that. So it's kind of like brings together all of this so you can have basically I have like all the games I have played in my life, I have them available in one click under Lutris. So it's like very convenient to have access to all of that. And like the Lutris is often advertised as a gaming preservation platform because like one of the focuses is to help people like
I
build
love it.
their library of games that they had like since the beginning of their gaming
Mhm.
days to like the latest AAA game that's you can buy today.
Yeah, and what's so neat about Lutris is when you first, I think, start in Linux, you're probably going to hear about Steam. Oh, yeah, I can run a lot of the games in Steam. Once you've settled in Linux for a minute, you're going to install Lutris and then put all your games and everything to be launched from there because any
Yeah.
game that you have with any other store, emulators, or everything can be launched from one center point, and it's available as a Flatpak. So there's no fancy things you have to do to install it. Just go to your store in your distro and download the Flatpak and then just begin playing. And like I said, it's pretty idiot proof, which is why we love it so much. Now, one of the things that's interesting, usually lately, Matthew, when I hear about companies joining forces, it's never a good thing for the consumer because I'm thinking of the big corporate conglomerates. But in open source, it's usually very different. And you've announced joining forces with Playtron to help build a new gaming OS. Can you tell
Mhm.
us about this project and maybe a status of where it sits?
Yeah, yeah. Well, also Playtron is not really a big conglomerate. It's like a very small startup, so it's like
Yeah.
very different vibe altogether. But yeah, it's like it's here. Game OS 1.0 is out. Our first partner was the Sweetplay, so it was tied to the company Sui, and it received like some backlash because it is kind of like involved in the crypto world, and so that would left like a lot of people under the impression that Game OS is a crypto project, which is like not really the case. We just happen
Mhm.
to have a partner which was involved in crypto. The OS itself is like not related at all on crypto, and we have partnerships like that are coming like pretty soon, or like this year, or maybe the next year. I can't talk about them right now, but those are like big names you have heard about for sure. So yeah, you need to keep an eye here out. Like for those, we'll probably have some announcements when that happens. But well, yeah, we
Nice.
are under like talks with like uh, big tech companies that are interested in the US. So this will likely happen. Right now, we kind of have like slowed down the project a little bit because we're working on like a super secret project, like on the
Mhm.
as well, which will help like bring like more money for us to work on Game OS. But yeah, we're still working on Game OS a fair bit. We're going to push an update like in the next like it's like imminent now. We are like are running out like a few patches, like putting out like a few bug fixes, and it's like nearly out now. So
Oh, I
and
love
then
it.
we're going to push like more patches, like more releases on a more regular basis. We're kind of try to aim on a monthly basis. But yeah, I like it. I mean, it's been like a great OS. Like for like I have it on my TV, I have it on a Steam Deck,
Mhm.
and it's a great thing to have if you want like full integration with Steam games, Epic, and GOG. You can also install like Flatpaks or even like native games with a plugin that's we wrote.
So this
Um,
could be used for your TV, as you mentioned, if you have a device to load it as an
yeah,
OS there. This could be used on any portable, not any, but the gaming portable
pretty
devices,
much,
probably.
any because we support a lot of them like ROG Ally, Legion Go, IANEO. The
Wow.
one we shipped, our partner like Sweetplay is basically shipping a rebranded IANEO. So it's like the specs are a little bit different than
Yeah.
IANEO 2, but it's basically the same hardware. So yeah, we're aiming to have like much more compatibility than SteamOS, and so far we've been like managing that quite well. We're like trying to get a good support on the MSI Claw, which is Intel based, like even the GPU, and we're starting to have like really good results there as well. I have like GameOS installed like on my Ryzen 5 plus RTX 3060 on my TV. And yeah, it's really like I have like Kodi installed. I have like something to watch YouTube on it. So it's really
That's so neat.
more
Yeah.
like media center, like full media center. So yeah, very, very nice.
Awesome.
Oh, awesome, Matthew. I just want to say uh, um, for everyone out there who doesn't know, Matthew is one of my closest friends. We live only about 30 miles from each other.
Humble
And
brag, Jill.
yeah.
Matthew's one of my closest friends too, Jill.
And I've known him for like now over a decade.
Wow.
And so I've been able to see the progression of Lutris
Mm.
and how he was doing things so ahead of the time that no one else was doing. And when he started his, integrating with Proton, he was staying one step ahead of Valve and
Wow.
including features that Valve didn't have so that I could play my games. And sometimes I would ask him, could you help get this game working for me on
Oh,
Linux? And
love
he
it.
would.
That's a good friend to
Yeah.
have, like
Yeah.
anytime you run into any issues, we're like, hey, Matthew, I'm trying to play this game. Can you get this to work? And then,
Yeah.
a little bit of magic for Matthew later, and poof, you've got a game working. It's a good cheat
that
code to
was
be friends with
amazing.
Matthew. Everyone should
Yeah.
venture to be friends with Matthew just for that reason right there.
Yeah.
I mean, like we also should not forget like a lot of the work that is being done for like Proton and all of that stuff is mostly done by Glorious Eggroll.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Eggy.
also like there's a lot of other people that work on Umu, which we're going to talk later. We're going to touch on that, but there's a lot of people that have been involved in that, and so that's the role of Lutris, I guess, is a little bit less important than it was for some time, but it's still like a very nice tool to have, like for and like everything under the same UI.
Yeah. And speaking of Umu, Lutris now integrates Umu, and it allows us to use Valve's Proton outside of Steam.
So cool.
Can you explain, Matthew, in simple terms, what Umu is and why it's good for stability?
Yeah, so we've had at some point like support for Proton in Lutris, but it wasn't working really well. You needed like some adjustments, and depending on which system you would run, it could like have breakage or bugs or stuff like that. Umu allows to run Proton in the same way as Steam. So that means it uses like the Steam runtime under the hood. And that way you are pretty much sure that your games are going to run as well as they would on Steam. There are other like advantages as well. So if a fix is applied to a Steam game, then the same fix can be applied to its like GOG version or Epic version if we have a mapping for this game, thanks to the Proton fixes and Umu database. So Umu is also taking the
Mm.
role of doing that. Umu is also keeping Proton G up to date. So whenever like there's a new Proton G version, the Umu launcher, if you don't specify a version, it will go and download the latest version.
Nice.
So that's offloads the responsibility to update like Proton from Lutris to Umu, and of course we can still like ship custom version. We'll have like an option for wine staging, for example, maybe like older Proton versions. I know there's a Proton version that's uh, can be used like for older computers, or one that's used for Photoshop that's pretty recent. And so we can still ship those, but the main goal was to have the latest Proton GE available and used by default for everyone. So that's, I mean, there's been this culture in like Linux gaming for a long time, well, of having like almost like one wine version per game, and when you install your game on one wine version, you would
Mm.
keep it on that one version because we're kind of afraid that updating would break.
Mm.
And we're trying to push away from that culture because now like regressions are very rare. And if you stick on that same wine version or Proton version as you had when you install the game, it's very hard to catch regressions. And what I want to do is to be able like easily to keep track. And of course, when there's a regression, we can mark it, and then we can say, okay, well, this game requires like an older version of Proton, or even like a wine. It doesn't work in Proton. I mean, it's pretty rare that a game doesn't run in Proton, but it could happen. And then we would have a system that lets us pin like a wine version on a game, but that would never be the default. Now the default would be always up to date, always using the freshest and greatest Proton G version, which is like not quite here. Like the current version of Lutris is still using like the old way, but there's like a new release that's pretty much like days away from the release now.
Nice.
That will make Umu and Proton G the real defaults, and it will like use that as a default for everything. And we've had like it's been like a laborious process to get that out. I mean, it's still not out, but I can finally see uh, it being out like in the next few days or weeks now. But yeah, like everything that's was happening last year. I mean, with the Playtron work that was quite busy. I also have some like health issues. I was not going so well. And with all of that, I got overloaded with stuff to do,
Of
and it
course.
was very hard to get my head out of the water. And now it's finally going again, and I can finally see the release coming. And now you keep and hear of it for news because it's really out there. I just fixed the Flatpak yesterday, and now like the Flatpak is running on the latest version.
What I love
Uh,
about you, Matthew, is I can feel the passion coming out about everything you're working on. About how, hey, I'm going to have it for you all soon, as if we're all paying you lots of money to turn around in
I
this business meeting.
know,
You're
but it's
so
been
passionate. I love it.
and there's been so many people who are like, oh, when there's the new version coming out, and because we've been saying, oh, we're going to ship that pretty soon, and it was push and push and push, like
Right.
not to the
Things
point of
happen.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
not to the point of like Duke Nukem Forever or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Still like pushed and pushed. So now I can finally say, yeah, this is pretty much like days away now.
Well, you brought back a moment for me. So when the new Duke Nukem Forever finally came out, which was a hodgepodge of 50 different studios apparently that worked on it when it finally dropped, I got the collector's edition, which came with the Duke Nukem statue. And that was about the only good thing about that entire game. So I was so excited to have a Duke Nukem. Did not pan out though. So it's worth the wait, is what I'm saying, for to get something right. You know, I think you kind of answered this question, but again, for those who may have been just stuck in Steam, they've only used Steam in Linux before. What are some things you think are essential for a gamer in 2026 of why they would want to utilize Lutris?
I think the main feature is really to keep all your games together, like regardless of the platform, regardless of the OS it was made for. Uh, Really, I can't think of like any game that I've played like during my childhood or while growing up that I can't play right now on like using Lutris. So that's like a big advantage. I don't think there's another platform that allows that to that extent because we really cover a wide array of platforms, and we're not limited to PC, but it's also like emulators and all of that stuff. So it's also you can go back to the 80s or even 70s if you use like MAME. You can emulate your old computers and everything, even like Silicon Graphics or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, are there
Um,
other things outside of games I can install with Lutris?
Sure. I mean, you could install like old Windows software or Like the new Windows software is kind of like hit or miss. I haven't tried like the progress made on Photoshop, but there's been articles of people like getting it to run. So we might have like a custom Proton build that you can download to Lutris. Same thing for like Affinity Photo. I think like some people made some progress
Yeah.
on front as
Yeah.
well. But we have like some scripts like for just like software, like Windows software that you can run through Lutris.
Very nice. Love it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Lutris Flatpak, Matthew. This is awesome. I'm so happy it's in that format as well.
Yes.
But can you clarify the difference between running Lutris as a Flatpak versus how it manages the games inside that sandbox?
Yeah. So one thing to know about the Flatpak is due to the way Flatpaks are architectured, I'm pretty sure, I'm fairly certain that Lutris is like the biggest Flatpak out there. Like in, in regards of size, because
Yeah.
basically you need not to have like the dependencies for the client itself, because it's like fairly standard like Python GTK program. So it would only need like the GNOME runtime and it would be done with it. But we also need like every little like library that could be required by a game. So that makes like the whole like Lutris Flatpak very long to build, pretty hard to maintain, and not always as compatible as running your game on your OS. I mean, sometimes it's more compatible because you don't need to worry about what you have installed. It will ship with a bunch of libraries already there for you. But sometimes you run into a game is going to use a library that is not in the Flatpak, and then that can be a problem.
Mhm.
So, Umu to the rescue, because what the plan is, instead of having all the dependencies inside the Flatpak, what if we targeted the Steam runtime instead? And we already have it with Proton G and Umu. So why not use that as well for running your emulators, for your native games, and all of that? And if need be, we could create a custom runtime that is not the Steam runtime, but that's something completely different. Or I know that Steam has the Debian 13 runtime that is not widely used yet, but we could use that as well
Mm.
of more compatibility. But offloading the compatibility to the runtime, the Sniper runtime, or whatever runtime we will be using, will make the Lutris Flatpak a lot smaller, so easier to maintain, faster to build, and all of that stuff, while making the compatibility better.
Mm.
We're not going to
Mm.
depend on the Flatpak for the games to run. Although it's going to work for the vast majority of cases, but still causes problems. For some cases, I would still recommend running Lutris natively versus the Flatpak. But on some cases, like the Steam Deck, for example, you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
Or if you run like something like Fedora Silverblue or Bazite, something like that, I mean, you don't really have a choice, and you kind of like forced to use the Flatpak.
Yeah. But you could
Um,
probably use like Flat Seal and stuff to give some additional permissions, perhaps. To
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Mm.
you can, but that doesn't solve everything. And
Gotcha.
Yeah.
sometimes you need to add like additional libraries that we haven't shipped or stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And the goal is to have those uploaded like to Sniper or some other, or have like a mini pack of libraries that we can ship independently that are not in the Flatpak nor the Steam runtime, that are just out like next to the game. So this is kind of like the old ways we've been doing it with Lutris. We've been had like this little Ubuntu 1804 runtime that has a bunch of like 64 and 32-bit libraries that help like for game compatibility. And we haven't maintained that a ton in the past years, so it's going to be deprecated pretty soon, as soon as we move everything to Umu and Sniper runtime and like other runtimes, then we're going to pretty much get rid of that. And also, I've experimented with Docker as well as one of the
Oh, interesting choice. Yeah, that makes
Mhm.
as
sense.
one of the option for
Yeah.
running some games. Mostly like very, very old games, like from Loki or Linux Game Publishing. Like those games who would use like very old OpenGL,
Hmm, hmm.
very, very old like sound uh, like libraries like OSS. And
Mhm.
I've worked on it like a few weeks ago and managed to get all the games, like all the old games running, like even Heretic 2,
I was
like
just playing that on stream a few weeks back.
Aw.
Yeah,
nice. And was it a Linux native version or?
right through Steam. I just played it right through Steam, the Heretic.
Oh,
But I don't think it was 2. I think it was the
no,
first
it's like
one.
first one. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
the
they
original one.
remade
Yeah.
that. Heretic 2 is one of those games that are not on sale anywhere because like the shareholders, like the right holders, are like, kind of like separated like between like I think one of them is Raven and there's
Oh,
also
it's split between studios and stuff. Yeah,
yeah, it's like No
Mhm.
One Lives Forever is one of those as well. That
interesting.
this
You know,
is like copyright limbo.
yeah.
So
We love
so
that,
you
don't we? And then we miss out on a fantastic IP, which is one of the great things about Lutris is you get to go back and if you have those games, those original games and things, get to play them
yeah
and do them. But one of the things I was going to ask you is you've overcome so many issues, and it sounds like even with the Flatpak, you're finding ways to overcome issues. Have we made any progress with the rootkits, as I call them, or the anti-cheat systems that keep a lot of well, not a lot of games, but I would say the last 10% of games from running on Linux?
yeah I would say it's even less than 10%, but it would be like maybe 50% or more than the big and popular multiplayer games. So
Yeah.
that's the issue.
That's a good way of putting it.
And I would say that no, there's like nothing that Lutris can do. It like we're not like a big project enough to do something about that. But uh, Playtron, on the other hand, there's something that's not that we can do, but that has already been done. I mean, we already have like a product that is already written and out there
Mm.
that is already like shipped into like the OS. And if you install like the Proton Graham OS, you see in the settings and you will see something called Pact. And it doesn't allow like any games to run. I mean, there is still that part from the game publisher that they will have to allow the game to run on Linux. But this this component will make them like more comfortable to enable that anti-cheat on Linux because it enables like a lot of security features. So it will basically be like the same thing that you would see on Windows. So it would be related to the TPM chip and all of that stuff.
Hmm. Interesting.
Uh, and
Mm.
that makes it possible for
Now, does it
us
come with
to
the same security implications? Because my fear with anti-cheat has always been it runs at the root level. And essentially,
Mhm.
yes, we trust that they're supposed to not do anything bad with that because they're just a game studio. But that doesn't mean somebody can't hack it and use those backdoors for something else nefarious. So do you know if
yeah, I
this
don't know.
project is somehow keeping those two separated?
I think it will still be separated because games they need to run at the kernel level, but on Windows, and we would just like expose some APIs that makes the game publisher comfortable to say yes, we will allow the game to run on Linux, but the game itself it would still run with Proton. It will still not expect the Linux kernel. So I don't think it would be capable of doing anything at the Linux kernel level.
Yeah.
Uh,
What's
it's still
amazing about this is all this anti-cheat software, and my son plays a lot of games that you're talking about that have the anti-cheat, like Rainbow Six. There's Fortnite. There's others that have different levels of these
Mhm.
anti-cheat systems, but there's still cheaters everywhere. So they're paying all this money to these anti-cheat companies because it's like a third-party application or whatever. In a lot of cases, Easy Anti-Cheat, I think it's called, or whatever. but there's still cheaters all over the place in these systems. So the best system is really the players reporting and getting these people kicked out and banned across their IPs, because I don't know of a single anti-cheat system that has kept all the cheaters from coming in anyways. They just find a way to work around it. So it's very frustrating. We did get a question from one of our listeners asking, Headless Docker would be fun. We could run games from our servers with a command or even a web interface that could send the game to any machine in the house. Is that a possibility?
How so? Like with streaming, or like by
Yeah.
copying the actual game
Using the
on
Docker interface, maybe.
Docker? I don't know, because I've toyed with Docker. I've used Docker, but with this project called Asgard,
Mhm.
and
Mm.
it was really for like old games. I haven't tried really using Docker for like anything modern, because we have other solutions. Like I've said, like the Sniper runtime,
Sure.
which is closer to your OS while still being isolated. It's still being using a container in some sort, so it's still the same principle as Docker. So I don't see the advantage of using like another layer of
Agreed.
container.
But it's not about the advantage. In the Linux community, it's about just doing it so we can say we did it. So someone out there, go try it and let us know if you could get it to work for fun.
Yeah. Something I want to do though is, now that I use like my Playtron console a lot on my TV, on my Steam Deck, I want to have an option in Lutris to have like send to my Playtron device, and it will copy all the files. It will use like the plugin, the local plugin that we have that allows like installing pretty much any game on your device, whether it's like native or Windows, and it would copy everything, so you would have like the game ready to play on your.
That would be fantastic. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, but for Docker, I don't know. I mean, not something I'm considering right now, and with the amount of stuff that we have
You
planned,
got
I mean,
enough on your plate for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
we have we are considering like BRAP for something, but and
Mm.
Umu is basically like a BRAP as well. So I don't think there's like a lot to gain. It's out of maybe applying another layer of isolation between your OS and the game. If you like, for some reason, like don't trust your game, then you would be able to isolate it from your OS. But outside of that, I mean, not really any plan for.
I love how Matthew's sitting here solving it right live on the show.
I know.
He's like figuring. I could
This is-
see his brain figuring all of it. Is there an advantage if I could find one? Nope. Okay, here's how. Yeah, I love it.
This
I love it.
is stuff that has been like in the GitHub in some tickets like for a while now.
A while.
So yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's BRAP stuff that has been like asked for by people like for a while now, and it will eventually come like in some release. But yeah, right now I think it's not the top priority.
Okay, so Matthew, we have a lot of listeners who are not gamers just yet, but even for those who do not game, we know that gaming tech improves the Linux desktop. Can you give us examples of how Lutris helps with general app compatibility or system stability outside of video games?
Like system stability, I'm not sure. Maybe if you use the Flatpak, then you wouldn't mess around with your system as much as you would without the Flatpak. So
True, yeah.
that would be like a good way to keep your system stable. Other than that, I mean, you're not going to use Lutris to run most of your software if you are mostly using like open source and Linux software. What is going to be useful is if you have like some random Windows software that you need, uh, that can be useful. I remember like at some point, System 76 were using Lutris to run their conference call software.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, I don't know, remember like what it was called, but yeah, it was like some
Yeah.
Windows software, and they were using Lutris to run that.
Oh,
So yeah,
cool.
it's like
Well,
it
I
could
think
be
even
used
more
for
than just the software side of it, Matthew, is the advancements that you all make, Glorious Egg Roll, yourself, Steam, all of these things focus on basically being able to maximize compatibility with applications and these different libraries and things, sure, but also the hardware compatibility piece.
Yeah.
And
no,
so even though people may not be big time gamers, they're getting a huge um, bonus uplift
Yeah.
from this stuff existing, because if it wasn't being worked on, there would be a lot more hardware compatibility issues, GPU enablement issues, all of that stuff, right?
yeah, like I mean, like what Steam, the work that Steam has done, because that's a huge company that has the resources to like they made this custom chip with AMD for the Steam Deck. But that's not only that, they also have like push the development of the drivers a bunch. And now you have stuff that's like ray tracing that works. You have stuff like HDR that works, and that's also available like
Mhm.
on your desktop. Even if you're not a gamer, you can enable HDR and watch like HDR videos on your desktop. And that's kind of thanks to the advancement that were made on the gaming side. Same thing for the graphics drivers like Mesa.
Yeah.
Mesa, the development of Mesa has been like so advanced so rapidly and made such a good progress. Like regardless of which constructor, like Intel, AMD, and all of that stuff. NVIDIA has made like a lot of progress also on their drivers. I'm not sure if like their open source module is kind of like related to gaming, but it might be in some way. So yes, I mean, what has happened for gaming in the past few years has surely benefited the overall Linux ecosystem. And I don't know if you've noticed, but like these past few months on YouTube, you see this like wave of YouTubers that say, "Oh, I've switched to Linux. Here's
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
my feedback. Oh, I've tried Linux like for 3 months." And all of that stuff. It's like a massive wave of people who
They're
just
just
are.
copycats, Matthew. I'm glad you called it out. I was first. All right.
I mean,
The
they're
whole
not.
the whole DOS geek for 3 months of YouTube. 7 years ago, I did that, folks. You're behind. 7 years ago. All right. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, now
It
it's like everyone is like doing that, and like every tech YouTuber is giving like Linux shots, and most of them, like I've watched a few, and most of them they say, yeah, for gaming, unless you play like anti-cheat games, it's good.
A very
Uh,
specific game. Yeah, you're going to be
Mhm.
able to.
yeah, and the biggest obstacle is a lot of those YouTubers are used to Adobe Premiere Pro, and it's like too much of a hassle for them to make the switch. For those who can use KDE in Live or
Mhm.
Da
yeah,
Vinci.
some yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
DaVinci, they have like no problem usually. Uh, but yeah, a lot of them like they go back to Windows because they need like Premiere
They
Pro.
think they
Like
need it,
They
but
think
they
it, yeah.
think they need it.
they need
Yeah.
it. It's like a lot of people have said, "Oh, I need Photoshop because I can't make the switch to GIMP because I don't want to relearn everything." Uh, but yeah, it's most of the time is not wanting to relearn
Yeah.
a new software because yeah, learning the
Yeah.
first time
It's
was
never
painful.
fun for sure. When I'm looking at kind of the work that you do, first of all, we keep getting the question in the chat that listeners want to know: do you ever have time to actually play the games that you work so hard to get working with all the stuff that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, that depends on the. Sometimes I spend a lot of time like not really playing a lot of games, but these days yeah, I kind of like got back into gaming a little bit more. I've been playing Expedition 33 a lot.
Oh, I've heard
Nice.
about that. How do you like
Yeah.
that one?
And it's a very French game. I mean, I've been um, a little bit like reluctant of playing that game because it was like turn-based combat and all
Mm-hmm.
of that stuff. But then it started like, winning all the awards and all of that stuff. And the
Yeah.
game is like beautifully made. And I was like, oh, I've
Oh.
got to try that. And like the combat system is really nicely made, and I really yeah, I really like it.
Awesome. That's very
And
cool.
I
Neat.
would say like these days, most of the games I'm playing are Steam related, so maybe not using Lutris that much. Or when I play them, like even like the Steam ones, I'm playing them on Patron.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, there's still like some stuff. Like if I want to play Minecraft, I will use Lutris, but really I
Depends on
tend
what you're
to
into at the time, right? If you're
Yeah,
wanting to
yeah,
play some of the
yeah.
yeah.
older games, if you're doing Lutras, if you got some of the newer stuff, you may just run it right through their interface. It makes
Mhm.
complete sense. But the fact that
Yeah,
Lutras can be an interface for everything is great. When you're working on these games, is there a chance? Because this is tricky work that you do. The
yeah.
ability to try to get all of these different libraries and things to work in Linux, is AI something that's going to help here? Have you played with AI? Do you think it will be something to maybe help make
I mean,
breakthroughs happen
it,
faster?
it's not something that will help. It's something that has helped, like
Nice.
tremendously. Uh, Basically, like the all this backlog of stuff and all this stuff that had accumulated in the past year, I've been able to go through it like pretty rapidly, like with like AI
Mhm.
tools and stuff like that.
Nice.
And it has been like really helpful, especially like in the past few months, because that's when it started becoming really good. Like up until like mid 2025, a lot of the tools were like not really great. I mean, you would have a lot of hallucinations and all of that stuff. I mean, like, there's a lot of like criticism that was like pretty like on points regarding like the limitation of AI. But the thing is that it has made like such big progress, like in I
Mhm.
don't know, like 3 months. I would say like just the past 3 months. That's it's really been a game changer, and it's pretty much like everything. Like um, the Flatpak, for example, uh, like even like there's like been people who are like really experienced with Flatpak who have been like working on the
Mm.
Flatpak update like for quite a bit, and they were like, okay, well, I've tried, but I'm still blocked on this issue, uh, and I don't have really have time to continue working on it. And I was able like to pick up the work and just like finish it like in a couple hours. But also, I mean, you need to know, like, it's not just like give it to AI and it will do the whole work. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one.
That's
That's one of the
such
Yeah.
a
biggest.
critical point, Matthew, is that a lot of people, I think that you could take AI and I could become Matthew and I can just start creating
No, no,
Lutris. You
No.
have to really know what you're doing, because
yeah,
the AI will go off in random thoughts. Number one, it will do its best to try to guess what you're doing, but
yeah.
it'll make stuff up all over the place. So you still have to know what you're doing. You still have to watch it, but it takes care of a lot of the base stuff for you. It can fill in
I mean,
gaps very quickly. It can
even
find
some of
errors.
the
Yeah.
it can find
Yeah.
error. It can take care of like the advanced stuff as well. I mean, stuff that I would even be able to do, like some pretty advanced like Rust programming or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
nice.
that is pretty advanced, and like by having a dialogue and like constant like reviewing, testing, and all of that stuff, you finish by having a good piece of code. But you have to like be knowledgeable about code. You have to know like all the good practices and all of that, because if you don't know, if you're not a coder and you try doing AI stuff, you might get something, but since you don't have like the knowledge to like question what the AI is doing, then you can't really contest anything, and you will have
Yeah.
like bugs, or you will have like unmaintainable code and
You
all
could
of
be
that
opening
stuff.
up vulnerabilities in your system,
Sure,
honestly, like
sure.
if you're not watching what it's doing or know what
And
it's doing.
I'm not saying that even with AI, even like with reviewing everything, and even with being knowledgeable about programming, I'm not saying it will not have bugs. I mean, bugs will happen whether it's me that writes the code or it's AI that writes the code. I mean, that's will happen, but also it's been a lot easier to catch those bugs and find solutions and all of that. So yeah,
Awesome.
I've
Thank
been
you.
able to do stuff like, oh, look at my, because basically these days I've been using OpenClaw. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's you dialogue, you chat with your computer via Discord or Signal, and now like instead of talking in a terminal like you do with Cloud Code, you chat in Signal. And I'm able to do stuff like, oh, look at my inbox. There's a Lutris error. Can you fix it? And it will like look at my email, pull the error, look at the details, see the error, like look at the code, find a fix, make the commits, and ask me if it wants to push the commits um, to the repo. I mean, it does pretty much
Amazing.
the whole
Yeah.
like
Very
the whole
cool.
thing.
Now, you're using OpenClaw, and then are you using Claude or anything else, or is OpenClaw the big AI tool that you're actually using
Oh
mostly?
yeah, that's a big point about AI, is that there's a lot of models that are not as good as Cloud Opus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And right now, like Cloud Opus is really like the top of the line, and I use Opus with OpenClaw. So OpenClaw will need like a model to run. Like OpenClaw is like the bridge between your computer and the chat apps and the AI model. And it can run like local AI as well, but I've tried it and it was not really usable, and I wouldn't trust it giving access to my computer with one of those like local models or
Right.
one of the lesser models that are out there.
100%.
But
Mhm.
I trust Claude well enough. I mean, I've used it long enough with just Claude Code for some months that I know that if I know what I'm doing, if I'm careful enough, that I can give it access and it won't like mess up too badly.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
that's amazing. It's amazing how far AI has come in just like a year.
Oh, and like
It's just
I would
like
say like in 3 months, in 3 months.
yeah, and
But
even
in
in
a
the
year,
3
yeah,
months,
sure, for sure.
yeah.
And it keeps going. I mean, what like OpenClaw is like not even a month old. Like now, it had like 3 change names. It's we have like a new opus that's like just less than a week ago. We have like a new
Mhm.
GPT
Yeah.
also
It's just
just came
advancing
out.
so fast. Yeah.
It's like
It's
so fast,
crazy.
and there's a lot of like criticism about AI, and a lot of it is justified, but also a lot of it is based on stuff that is no longer true. So when people
Mhm.
say, "Oh, when you ask stuff to AI, it will like the answers will be false," I mean, if you ask it correctly and you use the correct model, no, I mean it's right most of the time. I mean, I haven't had like really like wrong answers.
Mm.
You really need to like
Well, it depends on what you're using it for too. Like I
yeah,
work with it in
Mhm.
big corporations, and they're trying to do like customer care roles and stuff. And those are all over the place and can be much more difficult to
yeah,
replicate. And it can do weird things like start talking like a pirate.
yeah,
But when you're dealing with something like specific, like code, it can do really,
Code,
really
yeah.
well when it's focused and it's built for a specific purpose. It tends to be a lot more accurate in there. So we have some other stories we want to hit, but I've got one question I want to ask before we go into the lightning round. And it is we have a community of brilliant minds and people from all
Mhm.
backgrounds. What help does Lutris need for this amazing open source project? What could you all use some help with if someone wants to get involved?
um, and we've had like some troubles with like website moderation. If we had like people jump in and help with that, that was incredibly helpful. Um, Now I think I need to get to the point where I solved a lot of the backlog that I had. And once I have this backlog, I will be like much more ready to get help from
Get
like
help.
other
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
because I will have like a platform that is like much more stable and like more ready to accept like contributors and all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, all the people who work like for like open wine components, which is like a side project which like includes like Proton and Umu and Lutris and Heroic and Open Gamepile UI and Input Plumber and all of that stuff. Like all this like collective has been doing like a great job at advancing the gaming as a whole. So it's not only Lutris, it's like really like all the projects kind of like coming together and like collaborating and advancing the whole stuff. So yeah.
Well, I think I love the idea too of website moderation, and maybe documentation was mentioned in our chat that every open source project could probably always use people helping with documentation and such. And so I agree. These are great ways to get involved. And then as you get through some of these initial barriers, you open it up for, hey, we need help with this or that. And so just encourage everyone in the community to get involved in this amazing project. Matthew, we have to, it's a rule at Destination Linux, do a lightning round. And the lightning round is really where we find out if you're as smart as you seem like you are, because these are like math questions, geometry, all that stuff. No, so the goal of this is we're going to ask you the question, answer the first thing that kind of comes to your mind. There's no right or wrong here. And I'm going to kick it off. What is the best game of 2025 in your opinion?
It would be Doom: The Dark Ages.
Oh, good choice.
Good choice. What was the very first video game you ever played, Matthew?
Oh, does Game and Watch counts? I mean, like the Donkey Kong Jr.
Of course.
Yeah.
Or I think, I mean, I didn't own it. I mean, video game that I own, it would like the one that I wouldn't. It would be like in arcades, maybe one, or like I would visit some people who had a NES. The first gaming system that I had was the Amiga 500.
Ooh,
yes.
And like the first game I had on that, among like a few other ones, was Strider.
Of course.
Yes. And I've seen pictures of him in front of his Amiga 500
Oh, that's
from
so cool.
those times.
That's so
They're
cool.
Great.
When writing code for Lutris, do you use Vim, Nano, VS Code, or what IDE do you use?
So I was a Vim user for a long time, and I managed to get my Vim config bloated.
Wow, that's an accomplishment. I don't know how one does that.
500 lines of config and 50 plugins.
Wow. Okay.
So instead of fixing it or switching to NeoVim or anything like that, I switched to VS Code.
VS Code. Okay. Yep. A lot of people were there.
Which is the, but I must admit, I mean, sometimes
it's good.
I barely open VS Code, and I use Signal and like my terminal. Like I see like the Git diff is good. I'm not going even to bother opening the IDE or anything like this. I see, okay, like the patch is okay. I can commit this, and you don't even need like to open like an IDE.
Pretty cool. So that's like that.
Like the loop is like so fast. I mean, but yeah, I mean, other than that, like most of the time it's like VS Code. I still use Vim, like if I need to SSH into a server and I need to edit some files. So
Matthew's the only person who has Vim taking 20 minutes to boot. That's
yeah. I've seen his Vim before many times. So Matthew, if you could play only one game for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I built Lutris because I'm not that kind of person who plays one game.
Yes.
And I know there's like a bunch of people who are like, oh, I only play Fortnite, or I only play League of Legends, or I only play Overwatch. And I'm like, how do these people how can they do that?
I know.
But the question, Matthew, is if you had to, you were basically, they're like, hey, we're shipping you off to an island. You get to bring one game with you. what would it be?
I would say it would probably be Minecraft.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
Honestly,
yeah,
that could keep you
yeah,
busy for a long time.
Yeah,
I
I mean
feel
yeah.
like, yeah,
that's pretty much the game that kept me busy for the longest time. That's the
yeah.
game I have spent like the most
Plus, you can even
hours in.
build simple circuits and stuff in it. So it's like it's
Sure,
endless.
yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
Like
cool.
it's above my level, but
Yeah,
you can do that. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, building like the whole like computers with like screens and all of that stuff. I mean, I can make like a basic like logic gate or something like that, but building like
Mhm.
something more complex. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
takes months of work. Um,
Aw.
no, yeah, I would say Minecraft.
I love it.
But now also I would say, yeah, I've played Minecraft a bunch, so I'm not that
Eager to
attracted
go
to it.
back and play.
But
Yeah.
I've said that before. I've said that before, and then came back to it and spent like a few months again because there were like so many updates that I missed like a bunch of content. So I had to go back to it, play like 6 months of Minecraft to catch up with everything that was new,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then I was
They've
pretty
added a
much done.
lot. There's even different spin-offs and dungeons and all of that stuff. Well, Matthew, amazing job. You
Mhm.
passed the gauntlet of the lightning round. You survived
Yeah.
somehow. And so thank you so much for bringing us a little closer into Lutris. It's an amazing project. And the best part of this interview is we're going to move on to stories and just bring Matthew with us. So we don't even have to say
Yay.
goodbye right now. So, Jill, there's something I didn't mention in the intro, but we would be remiss not to sit here and talk about it, and that is this Discord situation.
Yes.
It's it's insane. I have not seen this much backlash for a privacy thing in a long time, and I'm
I
not mad
know.
about it. I mean from the community standpoint, I'm mad about what Discord attempted to
Yeah.
do, but I'm very proud that the community is kind of pushing back on this. So basically, Discord is facing this backlash because they wanted to mandate, at least how it came out at first, a global age verification. So you either
Mhm.
had to use their AI system, turn on your video, and it would try to detect what your age is, which how accurate really would that even be? I mean, I know there's people who are cheating some of the test things using fake IDs and fake face stuff and all kinds of stuff. So I mean,
Did
I
didn't
don't
they
know.
use like desk trending photo mode to get
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is you could of course upload your government ID. Well,
Mhm.
also 6 months ago it's important to mention Discord's had a breach with the company that they used to do their ID verification and like millions of records got lost out there. So it's one of those situations where people were like, no, we're not doing this. Of course, it's under the guise of protecting the children, like everything else is, even though it never really is about that. But that's what they're saying it is. And that's what we've kind of got here. So after that, I've seen Discord kind of try to backtrack and put out some messages. Well, we're not going to make everyone do a government verification, just if you try to go into rooms that are
NSFW. Yeah.
or
Rooms.
well, they kind of said rooms that were not just
Mhm.
NSFW, but rooms that were above teen. So that that could be maybe
Yeah. Yeah.
gym stuff where people were posting gym photos of themselves or other things. It doesn't necessarily have to be nefarious adult content, right?
Yeah.
And so any of those that you want to go into those rooms, you'd have to do the verification. I still hate this idea. I hate it with all my being because these companies should not be requiring this type of identification from folks.
Yeah.
Parents need to step up and take responsibility for their kids. Number one, if it was really about kids, which I don't believe it is, but if it was really about kids, parents need to step up. But this has created a mass exodus to Matrix, which I think is interesting. We've seen a
Yeah.
lot of even our own listeners move into our Matrix room recently, which I guess, by the way, we have Matrix if you're
Yes,
interested.
we do.
Um,
Destination Linux chat.
How does this make you feel, Jill, when you saw this? Are you disappointed in Discord?
I
I know you're not as much of a privacy person as me. At least I don't think you are because I'm a little bit nutty. But what are you thinking?
oh, I am, but I do understand why it's needed because of what's happening with the other governments worldwide, they're coming down stronger on all the softwares for security for, the youth, and yeah, that kinda makes sense. It's just the way they're doing it. It's not I mean, would anyone in their
I
right
don't think even
mind
those other governments are doing it for the youth. I think they're doing it to
Yeah,
identify people so that they can be able to, if you say something they don't like, or you decide they determine you're a deviant of the government. They've got your
yeah,
ID, they know your username, they can tie it all together and use it against you. Nothing that has been done. There's been so many laws and changes and verifications under the guise of protecting the children. I have children.
I
I've
know,
never felt
yeah.
less safe for my kids in my life. So
Than now.
nothing they've done has actually made my kids safer in any form or fashion at all. So I think it's all BS. I don't believe that they want to protect the kids at all. I believe there's probably people in there who genuinely believe that and that they want
Yeah,
to, but I think deep down it is just a slippery slope that's only going to continue to get worse. We'll need more and more and more and more and more information on you.
yeah. It's
And that's been
unfortunate.
the case for Facebook for quite a while, right? I mean, you can't even create a Facebook account without uploading an ID or
Yeah.
something. And I
Yeah.
wanted to, uh, I no longer have like a Facebook account. And at some point, I wanted to create like a throwaway account. And they asked me for like some piece of ID. And I was like, okay, well, let's forget about the Facebook accounts.
Exactly that would be my response too. I don't have
But
Facebook, but if I went to sign up and it was like, give me your ID, I'd be like, nope, nope, right out of there.
But yeah, I've been like a Discord user for a long time. I have like
Mhm.
even have like Discord Nitro and all of that. But I've been witnessing like for like what's 5 years now, kind of like the decline of like a lot of the Discord channels I've been
Yeah.
into, and
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's going to make this even worse. Like it's going to mm, take like drive even more people away from like the. So in some way, I mean, we're not losing as much as we could have because like the vibe in Discord is already like not great.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
problem that we don't really have a replacement. I have never seen like on Mastodon. I've started seeing posts about Matrix and all its flaws and how bad it is. Uh, like
Matrix is not perfect, and there's Revolt out there. I think it's called Revolt.
Yeah.
Jill, is that the right name for it?
Yeah,
Revolt?
Revolt. We've even tried it here for the show.
Revolt is
Yeah.
really unique because it's essentially a Discord clone. Like it looks just like Discord in a lot of ways. And I haven't tried it since we tried it last year, Jill. I think it was
Yeah.
last year to see if
2
it's
years ago.
maybe 2 years ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see if it's advanced. But I remember back
Yeah.
then going, "Oh my gosh, it's like logging directly into Discord," and it was completely
Yeah.
open source. So Revolt is an interesting one. I want to know from our community, where do you want us?
Mm.
Like, and if you're in Discord, where are you all going to go if Discord continues to kind of push this privacy stuff down people's throats? Is there a place we should be? Right now, Element is where it's at. But Matthew, you are 100% correct. Element
Yeah.
is not a replacement for Discord. It
well,
works, it functions, but
Yeah.
could not decrypt this message.
Yeah.
exactly.
There is, though, a service we should pay attention to a little bit,
Okay.
and that's, Steam chat groups. That's a new thing, and it looks like Discord. When Steam redid their UI and their they added e expanded on it, so it includes chats, group
Oh,
chat
do we have
now.
a DL room? I remember we had a fan create a DL room for us in
Yeah,
Steam
we
at one
do, an
point.
ancient one. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we need to check that
Yeah.
out as well. Now, I'm disappointed, but Matthew made another great point about Discord's decline. It reminds me of Reddit. Like there was a time where I couldn't get off Reddit. It was so
Yeah,
interesting
it was
to
the
see
thing.
so many different perspectives from around the world and see all these people and get their opinions and stuff. And then it just became too popular. And I felt like Reddit just kind of ruined itself, and it's a pretty boring place to be nowadays. And Discord's kind of the same. It was so exciting for a minute, and then it's just kind of like degraded. And then this is more of the degradation. I feel like.
Yeah, but even if
Yeah.
it became more popular, like a lot of the small servers I was in, have had their activity like really take a nosedive, and now it's like almost like deserts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, very good. Well,
That's so
let us
true.
know from our community what your thoughts are on this. We want to know what you prefer. I don't know, Jill, if there's a way to do a poll for our patrons or something as well on
Yeah.
Patreon, but we'll investigate that. But we want to get your opinion. Right now, we have one room in there in Matrix, so make sure you join it and fill it up. I think it's pretty lonely right now, like 33 people or something like that in there. So, but it was like three. We just opened it last week and it was like
Yeah,
three
just
people in there, and then
recently.
this Discord broke and now there's at least like 30 to 50 in there. So I know it's made at least a lot of people mad, and I've seen a lot of posts of people canceling their Nitro and other stuff. um, I'm sure Discord's under a tremendous amount of pressure from governments to implement this, and
Yeah, and I
I
know that's true.
and
Yeah.
and I feel bad for them, because when you have a popular
Yeah.
service like that, the first thing governments want is a backdoor and to identify everybody utilizing the service. So this is where being open source is a lot of an advantage for companies and things. But here we are. We have
Yeah.
another topic but I want to give it due time, and we are out of time. And that is, I'm just going
Yes.
to mention next week we will discuss, if we get a chance, because we've got another awesome guest next week. But Zen
Mhm.
browser, we want to bring that to y'all's
Yeah.
attention. Really cool. In the interim, if you want to check it out, look what Zen browser's up to, because it's just very, very cool stuff. But we're going to give it its own segment and we're going to talk about it,
Yeah.
right? So a big thank you to each and every one of you for supporting us by watching or listening to Destination Linux. However you do it, we love your faces. You can come join us on our Discord if you're still down with Discord, or you can come join us on our Matrix. But either way, just go to deviantairwaves.com, because Jill built the website and every week she's improving on it, doing all
Yeah.
kinds of cool stuff on there. So check that out. And if you want to become a patron, go to patreon.com/Destination Linux. We could not do this show without your support, and we've got multiple tiers on there for you as well. And soon we're going to have our patron only show where we'll hang out, where Jill and I will hang out with our patrons and chat.
Yeah.
And so it'll be a cool,
That's
cool
gonna be
opportunity
exciting.
for everybody.
Yeah, and make sure to head to deviantairwaves.com to get the links to listen to Destination Linux on your favorite podcasting app, or the videos on YouTube, to support us via Patreon or buy merch from our store, and to keep those Linux penguins marching.
I love it. Matthew, you've been amazing. It's been amazing to have you on the show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Um, thank you for all the work you've done with Lutris. Thank you for Glorious Eggroll and everybody else as well that's contributed into
Yeah.
gaming. But we appreciate you so much.
And where can our listeners go to support your work, Matthew?
so they can sign up to like, the Patreon. We have a Patreon,
Yay.
patreon.com/Lutris. And there's also like other ways you can donate or like, support the projects. If you go on the Lutris website, lutris.net, you will have a donate link, and you can just like send something with PayPal or LiberaPay as well. And yeah, I mean, you can also like contribute by like reporting bugs or like translations and stuff like that. Now that's started. I've been starting like getting more into the development, getting back into the development of Lutris. We're going to be able to take care of issues more quickly, and hopefully we're going to like reduce the number of bugs and like have a better like more like quick turnaround like for issues and stuff like that. So yeah, of course, like yeah, I mean, I would like if people want to help with GitHub tickets. I mean, it's always useful.
Mm.
If people can like know enough to help like people there, that's always nice. But yeah,
Awesome.
there's like always like most open source projects. There's like so many ways you can help.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's keep this project going. Let's show lots of love and support for Lutris, because they've been there for a long time supporting us in Linux gaming, even when gaming on Linux wasn't the popular thing out there. So we are so fortunate to have the work that you've done.
Yeah.
Everybody, have an incredible week. And remember that the journey itself is just as important as the destination and the people you meet along the way. Thanks, everyone.
Mhm. Love you all.
Most of you. Okay, all of you. Most of you.
Matthew. I love Matthew. I get to see him next week.
Yeah, because you're going to be at Scale, Matthew?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, he will
Well,
be
we'll
there.
see you at Scale then. All right. Thanks, everyone.